I love doing the show, and the show would not be possible without the generosity of viewers like you. So on behalf of the cast and the crew of Around the Corner with John McGivern, thank you. Keep watching, okay?
The We Energies Foundation, creating brighter futures for communities across the region.
What Goodwill can do with your donations is pretty amazing.
American Transmission Company, helping to keep the lights on, businesses running, and communities strong.
This episode of Around the Corner with John McGivern is made possible through funding provided in part by the Greater Milwaukee Foundation's Ernest C. and Florence M. Shockey Fund. The Greater Milwaukee Foundation is honored to be serving our community for a second century.
I'm on the balcony of the historic Greene County Courthouse. This is Monroe. So I was told to meet in front of the sign with all the official stuff because John Gardner wanted to tell us the official history, and here is the official. Hi, John Gardner.
Hi, John, how are you?
In front of this great courthouse.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And the story, John, is that it's here because of a hat.
A hat?
This is the Greene County Courthouse, and way back in 1838 when the county was formed, there were rivals to be the county seat, including Monroe here and a little town called Roscoe about 2 miles northeast. And the first 2 elections ended in ties. And the third election, the Monroe forces, they found a miner, this is a lead mining area, and said, we'll give you a fancy new braided hat if you can get your guys to vote for Monroe as the county seat. They did, so the miner got the hat, and Monroe got the courthouse, and I guess Roscoe got the shaft and dried up and blew away.
Yes, they did. Was it this courthouse?
No.
No.
This is 1891, spectacular courthouse, and they had to grow a lot before they could build something this grand. And that was a result of another victory back in 1857. There was a railroad coming from the east that stopped in its tracks for lack of money back in Brodhead, about 15 miles up the line. And instead of being marooned, the bankers and business people here put together $20,000, a lot of money back in those years, and completed that line to Monroe. So it became not just the county seat, but the commercial center.
What happened next?
What happened next was the Swiss. In 1845, about 100 Swiss came to a town called New Glarus, because Old Glarus was too crowded in Switzerland. And early on, they grew wheat, they grew corn, and then they turned to dairying. And they began to make cheese first at home, then commercially. Opened the first cheese factories back in the late 1860s. And you've got Monroe here with the railroad, so this became the shipping point. And before long, they were shipping tons of Swiss cheese, Limburger, and brick cheese. By 1880, they were shipping it all over the country and to Europe, to Switzerland.
Really?
As well. So you had Swiss selling Swiss cheese to the Swiss.
That's funny. Any resistance to cheese?
There was early on. As you know, Limburger can be just a little pungent.
A little bit.
And you had these wagon loads of Limburger cheese coming into town. The smell was so strong that it was actually proposed to ban Limburger from local roads. But then they smelled the money that came from cheese, and this became the heart of the local economy. More immigrants, more cheese factories. By 1920, there were 150 cheese factories in Greene County, including some right here around Monroe. And Monroe, by that time, was said to be the largest shipper of cheese on earth.
Wow. And it's still about cheese, isn't it?
Still a big deal. There are many fewer cheese factories, about 13 in Greene County, but they make a lot more cheese. But it's not just cheese. It's tourism, it's beer, it's healthcare, it's manufacturing, and it continues to prosper.
Population?
About 11,000,
Okay.
and it surprised me a bit. There are almost twice as many people of German background as there are Swiss here.
Oh, that is surprising.
It is.
Yeah.
A lot of Norwegians as well, and about 5% Latino population.
And our boundaries?
Little under 5 square miles, kind of nestled just south of Highway 11, and surrounded by the spectacular farm country. So here we are in the seat of Greene County, and it is a green county in more ways than one.
A Greene County in front of this beautiful courthouse.
Yep.
With the official history. Thanks, John. See ya.
See you, Jan.
I'm so glad we ran into this. It tells it all about Greene County. Fun facts about cheese. It takes about 10 pounds of milk to produce 1 pound of cheese. There are 400 dairy farms and 13 cheese factories in Greene County. Here in Greene County, cheese is life. We're at a family farm with brown Swiss.
Absolutely.
I don't know
Swiss.
brown Swiss cows.
A brown Swiss will not give as much milk as a Holstein typically, but the quality of milk in non-farmer lingo, what
Thank you.
means is a gallon of brown Swiss milk will actually produce more cheese than a gallon of Holstein milk. So from a cheesemaker's perspective, the brown Swiss milk is more valuable. They buy it at a premium, so it all evens out.
Look at, they're running. Let's talk about where they graze and the grass that you have here.
I have 30 acres of carefully managed grassland, of pasture land, that's subdivided into 5-acre plots. I have 6 different paddocks for the cows to go onto. So what that means is every day during the growing season, the cows have a fresh plot of grass to go on.
What's with the cowbell?
Cowbells. There are cows in this herd, as sweet and docile and innocent as they seem, they're absolute jerks. I mean, they kick at me, they swat me, they might not give milk, they just don't have to be like that. So they don't have bells. The ones that really make it fun have a bell.
Chalet Cheese Co-op, it's America's only Limburger cheese plant. Look at, it's out here in the middle of nowhere. It's a good thing, too.
It does give off an aroma. It's aged, it's broken down.
This is all Limburger.
Oh yeah, it's where we put the stink on the Limburger.
And what is the stink on the Limburger?
It's actually a bacteria. As he wets it, he rolls that bacteria onto the surface of the cheese. What happens, Limburger is very firm to start with, and then the outside starts getting soft.
So how old do you think this is?
It's only a couple weeks old.
Couple weeks old.
Very salty, acidy, crumbly. Now this one, a couple months old, you'll see it's starting, the outside is starting to, you're gonna have that combination, that outside softness.
And taste-wise, it's really different than that first one I had.
Now this one, if you take an aroma whiff of it,
Yeah.
you'll start picking up some of the ammonia.
At least.
You see how that a little softer? This is gonna separate the men from the boys.
This is a co-op.
Yeah.
And this has been around for how long?
1885. We're a relatively small plant.
Can I tell you, I think I'm a fan. I really do. This is tasty.
Ours is more hands-on operation. We run about 130,000 pounds of milk a day, and the big ones will run 3-4 million pounds. My other cheesemaker is a master in brick cheese and baby Swiss. I'm a master in baby Swiss, brick, and Limburger. I'm the only master Limburger cheesemaker in the country.
Good job. It's Monroe, Wisconsin. It's all about cheese. You can get anything, everything made with cheese. You can. Oh my God, it looks good.
Yeah, I think it looks like a real cheese store in Wisconsin.
It's
does.
sizable, and I love
Yes,
the fact
it's
that
sizable.
you can sample what you're going to buy.
Yeah, we actually sample every day. We sample probably, I don't know, 12, 15 cheeses, you know. European style, Swiss style cheeses made with nothing else but pure natural products.
And local.
And local, you know, coming right out of our grounds, you know,
Yeah.
sustainable, and we make the cheese, you know.
And it's the way it used to be is now the way it is again. I mean, that's really how it should
yeah,
be.
that cheese industry has stabilized. It's beautiful because, I mean, it's great food. It's great nutrition.
I read that you're known for your cheese shop and you're known for your yodeling.
Well, you know, I have people coming to the store all the time, and sometimes most of them wanted to come and buy cheese, but we have sometimes people, they just come and say, hey, we heard there's a guy that yodels there. Can we hear you?
You've got to know that I'm really thrilled. I mean, we're here where you make robots.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this business and how it started.
Well, we started back in 2001 in an 8x10 tin shed behind our mobile home. We just want to do what we love to do.
Yeah.
And robotics was it. I mean, automation, look what we create. I mean, we get to play with robots every day. Obviously, it's just like any other air hockey game.
Yeah.
Try to score.
You now have how much space?
24,000 square feet. And I think the typical stigma is robotics take jobs away. Hey! When we looked at our data, all of our customers are having employability shortages, finding good employable workers. And secondly is for every robot we've put in within 3 years, 10 jobs are created because of the competitive advantage. For instance, let's talk about what it saves, right? Back injuries. Average life of a person palletizing in that position is only 6 months. So after 6 months, you're finding a new person. So when you've got that on your line, you're like, yeah, well, that person.
This guy will last longer than that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. This is amazing. What goes on here?
Well, we're kind of proud of the place. We do a lot of stuff here. It's a 6-acre regional training center that we've built over the last several years. What you're seeing today is some ladder evolutions and some fire attack situations, but we can do technical rescue training. This morning we had police officer scenario training here. We run an annual fire school here that brings about 1,000 students in every year.
This feels real lifelike, doesn't it?
This is as real, as lifelike as it can be.
Yeah.
The whole purpose of this training facility is to give the firefighters hands-on training that they're going to face in the real world.
Real stuff. And it'd be great if they never had to use it.
Exactly.
You know?
But we continually train and train and train because the skills we need, you never know when we're going to need them. And when we do need them, we have to be able to have that skill mastered and to perform immediately.
It's well used, isn't it?
The center gets used on average several times a week by the departments from a 5-county area.
Letting it out very slowly now.
So I have seen on TV these hypnotists who do a whole crowd. They're like comedian hypnotists. That's not the same. No.
That's more entertainment. This is really to help somebody, you know, on an individual, personal, one-on-one basis. Take another deep breath in.
What happens?
All the habits that we own and thoughts that we own are hosted and locked into our subconscious mind. And the only way to get to the subconscious is by removing the conscious mind. And the only way to do that is through hypnosis.
It's opening up your mind, your subconscious, and just letting things that are already there come to the surface. And you just have to kind of unlock that.
And I'm able to help people with anything you can possibly imagine. So I call them, you know, roadblocks in life, smoking or weight loss or, you know, a fear.
No service. I have got absolutely no service. Hello, Mom? What? Yeah, I'm talking on your old phone. If you had friends here for a week and they needed to stop at 3 places, where would you tell them to go?
Well, there's quite a variety, but I would say first off, you need to go to Baumgartner's, get a Limburger sandwich, then Monroe Theater Guild down that way.
Wait, let's go back to Baumgartner's. What would we have?
A Limburger sandwich.
Because this town is known for Limburger.
Yep.
Yeah.
And cheese in general, but I think Monroe is the only place in the nation where you can get Limburger cheese.
Yeah. And
were
you raised on that?
No, I can't say that, but I have tried it. And it smells, but it's pretty good.
It's good?
Yeah.
Okay, and the Monroe Theater Guild?
Yep. They do, it's a community theater, they do a couple shows a year, and that's where I got my start in theater.
And from there, you would go somewhere for a beer, you said?
Yes,
Where's
yes.
that?
Well, there's the Minhas Brewery, and they have tours like all year round, and quite a variety.
Peter Brian Kelly, it's because of him that we're in Monroe, so if you're from Monroe, say, hey, Peter, thanks. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Great. This is kind of the iconic image of the square in Monroe, Wisconsin.
It is. I've heard it referred to as the crown jewel. I've heard it referred to as one of the most photographed buildings in southern Wisconsin. And it is a really neat building. A lot of history. The building was built in 1891.
Yeah.
And there was an original courthouse here prior to that was a wooden structure, and it got too small, so they built this building in 1891. A lot of people complained about how much it was going to cost at the time, but they wanted to build something that would last, and it has.
It has. And it's still active. I mean, this building has county offices. And
we have weddings here in the courtroom. We also have a lot of meetings here in the courtroom.
I see that people are invited to put on the judge's robe.
Yes, justice happens here. A couple of years ago when we built our new Justice Center, I wanted to make this a tourist-friendly, opportunity, not just for people to look around, but you know how kids love to try on. Well, I found out that adults love to try on too. So,
bailiff,
we have a judge's robe, an authentic judge's robe.
I call this court to order.
And of course, we have a gavel, and everyone is guilty.
No, I didn't see anything.
Everyone.
Always.
Always guilty.
Guilty. We're gonna have to take a break. You're classically trained.
I am classically trained.
Opportunity-wise for a singer in Monroe, is there much?
Well, You know, there's always weddings and there's always funerals.
Yeah.
And there is an art center here, so there's lots of performing here. There is a choir here in town. I believe they have a youth choir as well.
Yeah. Is there a busier season for you? June, most usually.
June, July, August, yep.
And what do they want sung for somebody who's trained the way you are?
A variety of everything, really. Anything from pop tunes to country tunes to just it really depends on what kind of service they're having, what the church allows.
Can you talk about living in this community of Monroe?
Sure, I love it. The downtown is awesome. There's
Yeah.
always something going on, especially in the summer. It's a large enough community where there's a lot of things to do, but everybody still knows one another and what's going on, and it's just a good feeling.
We are in Twining Park at the band shell, a Swiss band shell.
The only Swiss-style band shell in the United States.
Randy Schneeberger, right? How are you, sir?
John, nice
Good to see you.
meet
What a great park.
It's a beautiful
Yeah.
park, named for a general from Monroe, Nathan Twining. He was a Air Force general and was actually Eisenhower's chief of staff at one time.
And a
So-
Monroe resident,
A Monroe
obviously.
native, yeah.
Yeah. And has the band been going on since the 30s?
Well, the band, a community band, has been here since about the mid-1850s. This is kind of a museum piece in the country, you know, the community band. We're fortunate enough to still maintain this beautiful facility, a 60-piece band and an audience of about 250 or 300.
In 1914 was the first cheese days?
Yeah, that was a marketing effort on behalf of the dairy community here and the cheesemakers. The city band traditionally always played noon on Saturday of cheese days. This year is the 100th anniversary, started in 1914. So some fringe element here in town started this little rumble about, wouldn't it be kind of cool if we could assemble 100 accordions for the Cheese Days concert? So we're gonna accompany 100 accordions, and
it's gonna work.
It's gonna work.
Would you mind just giving a taste of an auction?
What do you want me to sell? There's a new tractor sitting there.
Is there? Can we do that one?
Sure. What do you get for it? Get 50,000. 50. What do you get? 45.
You're a farm auctioneer.
Yes, sir.
Besides other things, but that's what a lot of your business is, that.
Yes, farm oriented. 50. What are you going to do? Take it to Milwaukee and plant your garden with it? 50,
Shut up,
55. 50, 55.
What's the key to a successful auction?
51. Well, a lot of it, all the tractors, is management of the sale and sale preparation prior to the sale, is to get things marketed right and call your specific buyers of the quality of your machinery and cattle. So a lot of it is done before the sale ever starts.
Tell me about the birds that you have on this land.
Well, right over here, we've got purple martins. Took 30 years to get them.
To get them?
To come and stay.
Yeah.
Took me 30 years to get them. And now we have probably about 50 pair.
Are they all over the county, or are they just hanging
No,
out here?
not many people have them. A lot of people try to get them but never get them.
So this is their summer home?
Yes.
And then they go to Brazil?
Yes.
What came first for you, the loofah or the soap?
Actually, the loofah.
The loofah did.
It caught my interest, so I tried growing them, and I had great success.
I really thought this was a sea sponge, is what I believed loofah was.
A lot of people do, but
Well,
it's
good.
actually an Asian vegetable. And when it's mature, it develops the skeleton, and there I have my loofah.
You put loofah in all of your soap?
No.
What's the process of making soap?
In this case, I used olive oil,
Mhm.
tallow, which is beef fat, a traditional oil. So I use a combination of melted oils and then a liquid. But to get those together, you need to use lye.
And it's a good business?
Yes.
It is?
Yes. You put in the fragrance, which is grapefruit.
Grapefruit.
People really like handmade soaps.
Oh, can you smell that? I guess you can't. I can.
Smells good here.
Smells really good here.
It's becoming more popular as people are getting more aware of all the chemicals in everything, because a lot of soaps that you see at the grocery store aren't true soaps. They can't even be labeled soap because they're detergents.
And that will then turn in to this. That's lovely. What are we talking about this week?
Talking cross country and track, but mostly cross country. This program that Coach Hirschbrenner's put together is incredible. It's all about excellence. It's all about competing at a high level and winning. And they've done that here. And this coach, I just have a lot of respect for him. He's been the District 5 Coach of the Year 4 times in the last 10 years.
Great.
And you know what? The kids that come out and compete at a really high level.
Cross country.
Cross country.
Never talked about that before.
No, never.
Yeah.
In fact, 2 kids go in Division 1. You know one of them.
Ethan Main.
Ethan Main.
Where's he going?
He is going to Arkansas.
Yeah.
And Jake Hirschbrenner,
yeah,
who is the coach's son, going to Wisconsin.
So 2 Division 1 schools
out
are
of
going
Monroe.
to out of Monroe, Wisconsin.
Track and field, cross country, high level of excellence here.
Excellence in cross country.
And the cheesemakers can run.
They can. Yeah, I can see that. And this is their logo.
Cross country. There's not a lot of big boy sizes. This is what I have.
Here we
all
go.
right.
Good.
Yeah.
Sports for a minute. My brother Michael. See you, Mike.
Thanks, John.
Thanks. I love a community that gives you their calendar. Look at Monroe, Wisconsin. They are busy. A drive-in. Everybody has a story about a drive-in.
Yeah.
And the fact that you own one is really kind of cool.
It is cool.
How long have you had it?
My father and uncle opened up in May 1954, so we're in our 60th continuous season. We've never shut down.
Ever?
Other than winter.
When are you open?
Usually about the week after Memorial Day weekend. We're open every night all the way up to Labor Day, and then we'll go to weekends only.
And sound-wise, how do they receive their sound?
Through their car radio or boombox or whatever they have.
You still have the posts, though.
That helps keep cars organized and prevent chaos so we can get as many people in as possible.
What are you guys doing here?
How many cars can you fit in there?
Over 350.
You've got a good product. You've got digital.
Digital is the way to go. You can read the fine print edge to edge of the screen. It's nice and bright. Fog's not an issue. Rainy nights aren't an issue.
Nice. It's an event, isn't it?
For some it is. There's no doubt about it. They come early so they can toss a Frisbee around.
So not only do you have pizza, what else do you sell in there?
Oh, grilled quarter-pound hamburgers. We have a quarter-pound Angus all-beef hot dog, nachos, pretzels, of course, our famous fresh pot popcorn, plain or buttered.
Yeah.
And plus, our very own pizza. One of the cheeses is a World Championship cheese, and it's crafted right here in Greene County.
Oh, good, and you can get it here.
Hey, kids, get back in the trunk. Here comes the manager.
I asked people where we should visit, and everybody always says we should visit here. So I presumed you guys have been open forever, but you tell me that you haven't.
No,
How
just
long have you been here?
We opened in 2009. Started small, didn't know what to expect, but I knew that people like barbecue. So our fingers were crossed. We're a Mexican-influenced barbecue joint with Wisconsin flair. We take inexpensive cuts of meats and we treat them with the classic ways of adding flavor and tenderness, which is smoking, marinating, grilling. What it is our smoked brisket. Then we take those meats, which are delicious, and put them in sandwiches, burritos, quesadillas, or just serve them outright, of course. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing better than a big burrito made with good stuff.
Is there?
No, there's nothing better. You don't want to miss the coleslaw. This is my mom's old recipe. We'd never done a restaurant before, but we knew that a restaurant is essentially make some good food.
Did you see that? Did you see?
Give people a nice place to sit and take good care of them.
Oh my God.
So this is our first venture, and I think we're doing okay.
I guess I'll share it with my crew if they want to have some. Do you want to? Okay. We're a little north of Monroe. We're at Narnia Farms. We're here with Kathy, and we're here with some sheep that are almost extinct. Is that right?
Yeah, they are endangered.
Yeah.
They're British soy sheep. They date back to the Bronze Age, and this is basically what they looked like 5,000 years ago.
And you have a llama on land as well.
Yes, we have a guard llama, and he takes his job seriously. He really does protect the sheep.
Your history is not farming?
Yeah, he's only a week old. No, we're city people.
You are.
But our dream was to have a hobby farm.
Let's take this home.
I read about the British soy. All right, oops. And they're very easy to take care of. So for the beginner farmer, they're perfect. And actually the meat is quite good too.
Tasty as can be.
Mm-hmm.
And none of that gaminess.
No, it's very mild.
Mm-hmm. And what's the wool like?
The wool it feels soft, but it is a primitive breed. Oh, and I should say that you don't have to shear the sheep either. You just, you rue them.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, rueing means you just pull it off as it loosens up.
This is a full-time hobby.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Yeah. This is your workroom.
This is where we get the action done.
So you had gone to a summer program at UW La Crosse, and it was a clown camp?
Okay, well, first thing I need to do is take these earrings off because clowns don't wear earrings. To learn to be a clown, with my intentions of teaching children how to be clowns for our summer school program here in Monroe.
Okay.
Oh, you're surprised.
What do you love about it?
I love making people smile, making them laugh.
What size?
99.
Do you just have one character?
I have several characters.
You do?
Yeah, a severe personality disorder, I call it,
That's
yes.
all right.
It's about 10 characters that I do. There we are, complete. Daddy the Clown.
Your neighbors know what you do?
Yes, they do.
Like they're not going to be surprised when they watch this?
No, they're
and come
not.
knocking at your door?
No, they're not. Hee hee ha ha ho. I'm kind of called sometimes the town clown.
Are you?
That's kind of nice, isn't it?
That's all right, isn't
yes,
it?
Yes, it is. Yes. There.
What skills do you need to be a good clown?
Whatever you're comfortable with. My juggling turns out to be jiggling.
Is it right?
Yeah.
What we're going to do now is kind of like the clowns getting out of a car. You won't believe how much is in this bag.
How long have you had your balloon?
I've actually owned it about 8 years now. And you start out practicing. You have to fly with somebody who is a licensed pilot, get your time in, and when that person thinks that you're good enough, then you can get a license to solo.
It's all regulated.
It's all regulated. Basically, this is considered to be an airplane.
Okay.
It doesn't have a motor. The only control you have is up and down. The rest of it, you go where the wind currents go.
What's it like up there?
And now we're ready to take off.
Okay, see ya.
Well, it's hard to describe. Now we're off the ground. Once you're off the ground, there's no sense of motion other than what you see. It's very calm and relaxing. It really looks neat when you're up in the air 100 feet. Okay, we're gonna come back down. It really is a nice experience.
We are on the east side of Monroe, Wisconsin. We're talking to William Mitchell Ross, and you may know him if you know the Monroe Mystery Series. How does Monroe play into your stories, and is it a good backdrop for what you do?
It's a perfect setting for what I do. Because tourism is always in the back of my mind, I use Monroe settings, our avenues and streets, or the courthouse, or Bumgardner's on the square. They know where these places are, and they love that.
Detective Samantha Gates was sitting on a green leather armchair.
But visitors coming to Monroe can go to the scene of the crime, and to the brewery, was my first one. Monroe Country Club was my second scene of the crime, and my third one was down on the square on the west side. Of course, the characters are all fictional, but you have the place.
Yeah. Well, if people Google your name, William Mitchell Ross,
Yes.
they'll come up to these books, and they get great reviews.
Oh, yeah.
People love them.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's fun.
Monroe, my brand new definition of perfect small town Wisconsin. You have 30 seconds to tell us why Monroe, Wisconsin is the best place in the world to live, work, and play. And Mayor, you can start right now.
Well, Coleman to Monroe, Wisconsin. We're a city known for its friendly people, its cheese, and its beer. We have the oldest brewery in the Midwest, 1845. We have concerts on the square. We have Turner Hall. We have our Cheese Days festivals. And I just want to invite all your brewers, your viewers to visit wonderful Monroe, Wisconsin, and we bring you back. And John, I think that they would really enjoy their trip when they come to Monroe.
Mayor, that's it. That's all the time you got. Thank you.
Additional funding for Around the Corner with John McGivern is provided by the Greater Milwaukee Foundation's Ernest C. and Florence M. Shockey Fund. The Greater Milwaukee Foundation is honored to be serving our community for a second century.
This program, Around the Corner with John McGivern, is brought to you by the generosity of all of the communities that we have visited.
And viewers like you all around the state.
Thank you so much for supporting Milwaukee Public Television
and local programming.